And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today I'm going to be talking to you about Central Market. This is a small card game from Brain Games. I really enjoyed their Construction Zone game, so I was looking forward to this, even though the theme itself is, once again, another market-style game. Once again, selling vegetables. Although this is about the farmer's market. In a sense, this is where I'm out there and I'm selling my tomatoes, and I look over there and I see Joe selling his tomatoes for 7 gold pieces, and I'm like, oh well, I can sell mine for 6, folks. Come buy them for me. And so that's the way this game works essentially. Let me show you a more detailed explanation. There is surprisingly a lot of stuff inside this box, although this card here, the scoring card, is not used in this game. In fact, they tell you to throw it out. They have a scoring board instead. Now, why do we not use this scoring card? Because these tokens they give you are too big to fit on the numbers. Now, the reason I mention that, it's nice that they did that, but at the same time, each player keeps track of their money with 2 of these tokens, and it's the same problem. So that's a minor thing. We were able to survive with that, but I just wanted to mention that. So each player is going to get a card here to keep track of their money, and they also get one of these cards so you can see what friendly farmer you are in the market. But the game itself is going to revolve around a deck here of goods. These are different good cards, and you can see the different goods down here. We have peppers, we have tomatoes, we have eggplant, we have cucumbers, or what we call them pickles the whole game, and we have carrots, and these are 2, 3, or 4 kilograms of each type. Now, the game takes place with 7 rounds, and we'll use this marker here to show you what round number it is, and this is to show who the first player is of each round, and players are dealt 4 cards in their hand at the beginning of each round. Now, what a player does on their turn is they are going to, each person goes once each round, and you pick a good from your hand and you say, I'm going to sell peppers this round. Now, you don't have to show the card, you just say you're selling peppers, and you pick your price. Let's say I'm the purple player, I say I'm going to sell peppers for 6. Now the next player has to bid either lower than me, say he'll say I'll sell mine for 5, or pass. Now, if he has peppers, he can only do it if he has peppers. Now, he doesn't have to sell his peppers. He can save them for a future turn. As you can see, there's multiple turns here in the game. But, he may want to sell them for a cheaper price. So, after everybody has either bid or pass, let's say yellow said he sell his for 4. And so now we're selling peppers. The lowest person gets to go first. So the yellow player, he sells 5 peppers. He plays 5 kilograms of peppers. He sells them for 4, so he makes 20 income. The next player, the red player, he sells 5 of them. And he has 5, so he gets 25. So the same thing. Now, here's the thing. The purple player is in trouble, and here's why. Each time you sell things, you can only sell 10 kilograms total. Since he sold 5 and since he sold 5, there is none left for the purple player to sell, so he gets no income and he can't sell any of his. But let's say that we had sold 5 and then 3, and that was his turn, and he plays a card that's 3. Well, that goes over the limit. So we put one of these white markers on that card to show that he only sold 2 kilograms. Each player also has a personal limit of 10 kilograms. So let's say someone then sells tomatoes in a future turn. So the yellow player plays 4 tomatoes. Well, he only has 1 kilogram left that he can sell this turn. Now, once a player has done this and bidding occurs and we go around the table, then the next person starts and they can sell anything except peppers. And you keep going. Each player has to pick a different type of good or pass. You can't play goods if you don't have them. So at the end of a round, you will save cards for future rounds. However, you'll also take 1 card from your hand and you'll face it you'll place it face down, because in the last round of the game, you don't draw cards. Instead, you'll take all the cards you placed face down. So if you want to have cards for the end of the game, you better save one each turn. Now, the game has a certain number of rounds, and that's depends on how many players that are in the game. But what's important is, after each round is over, we see who has the biggest income that they've got that round from selling all their vegetables. Whoever has the most income is going to get 4 victory points, and then 3, then 2, then 1. Or it depends how many players are in the game. It could be 3, 2, 1, etc. And players will keep track of their scores on this board accordingly. At the end of all the rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. Players also have 3 special cards that they can play at different points. They can play tourists, which allows them to sell 1 card to the tourist that goes above both their personal 10 kilogram limit and the communal 10 kilogram limit. They also have a cheater, which allows them to sell a card even if it's not the right type. So everyone's bidding on tomatoes, and I have carrots in my hand, and I say, okay, I'm gonna also raise the bid on tomatoes, but lo and behold, I sold carrots instead using that card. And then spoiled, you can play that on somebody else, this card here, to basically cut theirs in half, the amount of vegetables that they sell this turn. So you can play those each once per game. I really enjoyed this game. The theme itself really works well. That 10 kilogram limit is very fascinating, and I think the game works best when it goes to its full complement of players, because there's that whole give and take, and you're watching what everybody else does. I mean, it works well with 3 and 4, but man, 5 was just a really good number to play it with. What's interesting about this game is bidding. At first, people bid all over the place, but as you play a little bit, you're like, oh, okay, I might as well bid 9, because likely not everyone else is going to be able to sell their limit, so I might as well sell my vegetables for 9. Or and then the next person bids 8 and 7, and so everyone sells them for a very high price. But sometimes you will deliberately lower the price all the way down, or make your starting bid very low. And let's say I have 1 carrot card in my hand that's worth 2, and I'm like, well, whatever. I'm not going to sell many carrots this turn. I might start the bidding on carrots at 1. Now, why would I do such a thing? I would do that because that essentially cuts everybody else out. They can't bid lower than me. Or I'll sell it at 3, forcing everyone else to either sell them at a lower price or don't sell them at all. So that has some interesting ways that bidding works. And you can be really brutal to another player. Knowing when to play those 3 special cards, I think, is the key to the game. Playing that spoils card another player, it's kind of a take that style card, but you can only do it once. And they're likely, I mean, let's say you're playing 5 rounds and you sell things 5 times in the 5 rounds, so there's 25 times. They're only going to get messed over once. Well, maybe once per player if everybody plays on the same person. But still, you play it at the right time, and you can cut their income down far enough so that you can get more points than they do. Makes a big deal. Playing a cheater card the same way, and playing the tourist, being able to sell that extra amount. I like the fact that you save 1 card till the end of a round. That promotes saving and thinking ahead, and if you can do really well in that final round. However, there is a problem in this game, since you only get so many points per round. When you get to the final round, some people can be effectively out of the game at that point if they can't get enough points in that final round. But the game isn't that long that I think that's a really big problem. So I'll give this one a solid. I like it. I mean, it's not great. There's no great new mechanic here. But the bidding low is an interesting one that a lot of games don't often use. And I find it fun, and the 3 cards. And like I said, the theme of the farmer's market does come out. And even people will be, if you have a group of people who like to bring out the theme of the game, they'll be bringing that into it. So that's Central Market. A decent game, especially if you like interacting with other players and kind of trying to get the lowest price. This is one you'll enjoy. And it's in a pretty small box.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.
Tom, will you please shut the door?
Yeah?